So yeah, I'm Andy, Gott from Fieldwork. We're a small studio, there's 6 of us. A lot of the work we do is with charities and social enterprises, and we see more and more people starting and making and doing things and contributing to things that are for social good, to solve social issues. We mainly see this happen in 3 different ways. The social entrepreneurs, which for me is the most interesting one, so these are individuals and small groups of people who are taking on problems that they see and doing things about them. This is the Do Nation. A few years ago, Hermione in the middle there, founder of Do Nation, did a sponsored bike ride from London to Morocco. And instead of asking people to sponsor her with money and donate money to some kind of environmental cause, she asked them to donate actions. So she thought, instead of asking people to donate money, wouldn't it be better for the environment and more direct if we get people to actually take action that benefits the environment? So she asked people to pledge to do things like wash their clothes at lower temperatures, swap a car journey for a cycling journey. And she set up a simple little website to take the pledges, and it really took off. It was just friends and family, but they ended up doing something like the equivalent CO2 of 84 flights from London to Morocco. Another really interesting social enterprise is Good for Nothing, something that we're involved with. Started in London, and it's a community of people from the creative industries, so designers, developers, strategists, illustrators, filmmakers. And they come together around causes. They come together to donate their skills and their time to help further causes like the Do Nation, and anybody who's tackling social issues, and particularly people who are tackling social issues in innovative ways. It works a bit like a hat weekend, so people gather for 2 days and gather around these briefs. They're briefed on a Friday night, turn up on a Saturday morning and just go at it. There's no hierarchy, nobody tells anybody else what to do. I've seen a room full of 80 people just show up and start doing stuff. So another place we see good happening is big charities. And the interesting thing for us at the moment is we're seeing more big traditional charities who have often been quite slow in the way that they move. They've got a lot of kind of structure and process behind what they do now. And they're starting to try to work in more agile ways, and a bit like startups and a bit like the social innovators I was just talking about, the social entrepreneurs. We're working with Catch-22 to build a web app which helps young people organise their social action and plan social action and gather into teams and do social action, so voluntary projects, things like tidying up, cleaning up the local park, or raising money for a local cause, that kind of thing. And they've recently been funded by Google to continue to develop this, but part of that process is making it sustainable financially as its own thing. So although they're a big traditional charity, they're looking for ways to be like startups and find new revenue streams through doing that. The other way, of course, is corporates. This has happened for a long time. Corporates have corporate social responsibility programs, and they put a lot of money into things. Nike Foundation funds social projects that support teenage girls around the world, particularly in poverty. Another really good example of that, by the way, is Patagonia, who are even better than, they don't just fund stuff, they build social responsibility into their business model. So a lot of the work we do with these people is around behaviour change, supporting and encouraging people to change the way that they behave, to help themselves, to help the people around them, to help their communities, to help the environment, things like that. And when you look at most of the successful behaviour change programs, they have some common things. They all put a lot of work into understanding and researching the barriers. So why wouldn't people want to change? Why don't people want to get on a bike in the morning and cycle to work? Why do they want to get into the car instead? Why don't they want to eat less sugary food? Why don't they want to stop smoking? And what issues are specific to the project? So if we want people to do something outdoors, is the weather an issue? If we want people to shop locally, is lack of convenience an issue? And if we're asking people to save energy, is complexity of their energy usage a barrier to them? Do they not understand what they're looking at? They also research, this is the other side of that same coin, they also research and understand the existing patterns of behaviour. What causes people to do what they're doing now? If someone makes a decision to get in a car at 7 a.m. in the morning instead of getting on a bike, why is that? Is it because they love putting the radio on loud and singing on the journey to work? Is it because it's a cold January morning and they want the heating on full blast? And this stuff, having this information, informs a process that we can go through to design a programme of interventions then to break those habits. The research is really important. And the key thing to behaviour change programmes, the really important thing is consistency. One big thing doesn't cause behaviour change, lasting behaviour change. If you have a shop locally day, you can get a whole bunch of people maybe to shop locally on that day. If you have a shop locally programme of events that runs throughout the year and allows people to get back in touch and reconnect with the stuff that you're doing, behaviour change is much more likely. Lasting behaviour change is much more likely. The Big Pedal is a project we work on. It's a 2 to 3 week long cycle to school competition, national thing for schools all over the country. And although it's only 2 to 3 weeks long, it's part of a much bigger programme by the organisers of the event, Sustrans, who work in schools to get more kids cycling to school. And the interesting thing about this is that the Big Pedal is actually about connecting with the real champions of their cause. So it's not so much, this particular event isn't so much about getting those multiple touch points and that consistency. It's about finding people in schools. So finding one individual usually in each school that they target who will take the cause and say, right, we're going to get our school cycling to school. And then it's about giving them the tools, the inspiration, the resources, the things they need to do that. So it can be really useful to find a champion in a small community and get them to spread the word and get their community to move.